Hare Krishna to any internet fans out there, friends. We're doing something a little different today. Instead of the regular Bhagavatam class, we are continuing something we started on Gaur Purnim, Lord Chaitanya's Parents' Day. And that is the... So to set the mood, we're going to start with a bhajan, devotional song written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the great teachers in our line. And he's describing Lord Chaitanya's, when he was here on the planet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna come again, of course, where Krishna ends Bhagavad Gita, just surrender to me. Krishna comes again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the role of a student, the perfect devotee, to show us by example what it actually means to surrender to Krishna. So one of the things he would do regularly was go out in the morning on chanting party, waking the sleeping souls, Jeev Jago, encourage them to wake up. So this is a meditation by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur on those early morning kirtans of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, Ramapati, we're ready. Thank you. Janardhan. भक्त समोहालया साथे गला नागर ब्रजे भक्त समोहा Tathai bajila khal Gana ghana tahe jhajera ro Tathai bajila khal Gana ghana vahe jhajera Preme dala dhala sonarayang charane na puravaje Preme dala dhala sonarayang charane na puravaje Mukunda Madhava Jadava Hori Bole na bola re vadana bhare Mukunda Miche nidra vase galare ratri Divasa sari rasa je Viche nidra vase Yamana durlabha manabadeha Paya ki kara bhavana keha Yamana durlabha manabadeha Paya ki kara bhavana de Ivina bhajile jasuda suto Charane parivilaje Bhajile jasuda suto চরমে পরিবেলা উদিত তাপন হইলে অস্ত দিন গেল বলে হইবে ব্যস্ত উদিত তাপন তবে কেন এবে অলস না বাজ্য হৃদয় রাজে তবে কেন এবে অলস না ভজ হৃদয় জীবন নিত্য জনহাসার তাহে নানা বেদ বিপদ ভার জীবন নিত্য জনহাসার তাহে নানা বেদ বিপদ ভার নমস্কার করে যতন তুমি থাকা আপন কাজে নমস্কার করে যখন তুমি থাকা আপন জীবের কল্যাণ সাধন কাম জগতে আসে মধুর নাম জীবের কল্যাণ সাধন কাম জগতে আসে মধুর অবিদ্যতি মেরা তপন রূপে হৃদকা গান বিরাজে কৃষ্ণ নাম সুধা করে প্রাণ জোরার ভাকতে বিনোদ পান বিনোদ প্রাণ নমস্কার করে যতন নাম বিনা কিছু নাই কার চদ্দ ভুবন মাঝে উদিলয় অরুণা পুরাব ভাগে দ্বিজমণি গৌরায়মণি জাগে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Of what we just sang. All righty. When a tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunrise, the jewel of the twice-born Lord Gauranga immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he went all over the countryside, visiting the towns and villages of Nadia. The madanga resounded, tatai, tatai. The cymbals chimed in time, and Lord Gauranga's footbells jingled as his golden form trembled slightly in ecstatic love of God. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townfolk, "You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy names, Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, and Hari, chanting without offense." You have achieved this rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you don't serve the darling of Yasoda, Krishna, if you don't serve the darling of Yasoda now, great sorrow awaits you at death. Each time the sun rises and sets, a day passes and is lost. Then why do you remain idle and refuse to serve the Lord of the heart? Understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and full of all kinds of miseries. So take shelter of the holy name as your only business. Desiring to bless all souls, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to the material world and now shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. There's nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. Om Agyanatamarandasya Gyanagana Salakaya Jakshushrumadhatangena Tazare Shi Gurave Namaha. So as a preface, we live in uncertain times, and certainly those we need for others, like Dravida, who just arrived. Yeah, so when everybody's sitting, then we can talk. Leave them over there. If anybody shows up, they can take them. Like Mukunda just showed up. You done? We live in uncertain times. Although the veneer is the covering, everything's fine. We're making advancements. The default mode of this world is that things are very nice and happy, and every now and then there's some difficulty, but we can counteract it. This is the whole population of the globe is working on two things, Prahlad Maharaj says. Two activities. It's either AC or DC, two currents. One is what? Other than Dravida, who knows? Okay, Dravida.
Well, I know one person that they're trying to hold on to the things that are given to them.
Exactly. They're trying to hold on desperately to their momentary happiness. That, brief respite. Things are working out okay for the moment. What do they think so far? So far, so good. That's what the man said who fell off the roof, so far so good, before he hit the ground. We're not being pessimistic. Previously, people think, oh, you're just pessimistic. And no, it's an honest analysis. Diagnosis is the first step to a successful cure. And we have now seen all over the world the most powerful, the high and the mighty brought low by a tiny little bacteria. I don't even, you can't even see it. Or virus. Yeah, virus. They don't even know what it is, a virus. And how big is it? And the whole facade, the whole Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put him back together again. The whole stock market, the whole thing just crashed. Airlines. I mean, so I don't want to belabor it. But okay, so we live in uncertain times. But we always, Prabhupada was sitting in Delhi during the blackout of the Bangladesh war. They had to shut out all of Delhi because they thought the Pakistanis were flying over and about to bomb them. And in the dark, you hear a panicked reporter say, "Oh, Swami, Swami," talking to Srila Prabhupada, "can you give us some words of solace in this time of trouble?" And Prabhupada said, so the lights go back on, the air raid siren stops, you're not still in trouble? What are the big four? And I'm not talking about the March Madness basketball or the football or whatever it is. What are the big four? It's called the protom and otom, the warp and woof, the weave, the very fabric, the very nature of this world. We all face four obstacles. What are the big four? Birth, death, disease, and old age. Nah, but we've got modern medicine. We're working on disease. We know we've conquered the Black Plague. No, you haven't. It's coming back at you in a different... The principle of disease is coming at us. Present among us as the grim reaper. So, okay, do we just leave it there? We should understand our nature is we are marginal potency. Srila Prabhupada said, and why does that matter? We'll explain in a minute. Prabhupada said that we, the living entities, each of us, the individual souls, are sitting on a fence. I personally saw Prabhupada give this example in Los Angeles, 1970, giving a Bhagavatam class. And he took his hands and said, we're like sitting on a fence. If we lean this way, we're sitting on a fence, what will happen, Balaram? You'll fall that way. If you lean this way, what will happen, Janardhanji? You'll fall that way. So we are marginal potency between the material nature and the spiritual nature. And we, depending on how we lean, Prabhupada said, if you lean towards Krishna, Krishna will pull you. And if you lean towards Maya, Prabhupada said, Maya will certainly pull you. Nature abhors a vacuum. You cannot really stay static in this world. We can become ecstatic, or I don't know what is the opposite. We can become, I'm thinking of, anyway. Dyspeptic? What is the world that anyway, it'll come to me later on. So we have a choice. A vine. You know, a vine, it's referred to in the translations of many of the Vaishnava literature. They say a creeper. When I was a kid, they called them a creeper. A creeper or a vine. What does a vine need to grow? Okay, sun, water, all that, fine. Work with me. What does it actually need to be healthy and grow? Yes. It needs to have shelter. It needs to have something as a support that it can climb on. So we, as the marginal potency, we have to take shelter. We have no choice. We can take shelter of the material nature, and as Prabhupada said, be tossed like a football, be at the whims of birth, death, disease, and old age, the modes of material nature. What is it? Prakriti kriyamanani gunakarmati sarvasya ahankara vibhudatma kartaham iti manyate. We think we're the controller. That veneer, that mask has been that illusion has now been dispelled. But the general default mode is we think we're the controller and things are going on by our arrangement and our plan. But actually, What are they going on by? By the material nature, by the modes of goodness, passion. It's going on like a giant machine. But we're delusioned by false ego. Big fools. Was it Vimuda? Not just an ordinary fool, but a big fool. That's the delusion. We think that. So the fact of the matter, as it's being pointed out by this song, and as we're going to get into in a moment, is that we have to take shelter. It's not a question of, oh, well, that's for you who believe it, and that's for people who don't have, goodwill willies. You don't have a backbone. You got to take shelter. That there's somebody in the sky, a catcher in the rye who will catch you if you fall over the edge. No, it's the fact. You have to take shelter. It's the only freedom we have is where we will take shelter. Like the vine has to climb on something. Do we take shelter of the material nature? Do we take shelter of Krishna? That's really the only choice. Srila Prabhupada was here in, 1776 was the American Revolution. So in 1976, Prabhupada was in America. And there was a bicentennial, 200th, it's a big deal, in history, so they say. So, there was big celebrations. I believe Prabhupada was in Washington, D.C. at the time, which is famous for its 4th of July fireworks. And then this was going to be the big deal, bicentennial. 200th anniversary of the America. And it was all about the Declaration of Independence. And Srila Prabhupada gave a fantastic lecture, Sunday Bhagavatam, declaring the declaration other than Dravida Prabhu, who knows all things. What did Prabhupada declare? Now, it's an easy one. Declaration of Independence is what the history books and the conditioned souls are all presenting. But what did Prabhupada declare? The declaration of dependence. That's our actual status, that we are dependent. Now, is it a slavish, anxiety-ridden, low self-esteem, take shelter, dependency, slavish mentality? Not at all. It is, Prabhupada gives the example, and I'm trying to get the Sanskrit, the Bengali word for dog, kiku? Kukud? Kukur is the name for a dog. So, okay, we're dogs. I'm sorry to, proper analysis, first step in cure. But a street dog, and in India you see street dogs. In America it's the land of the pampered pooch. But in India you see street, bent tail, no hair. And they're usually pretty humble, they'll bark at you from a distance, but generally speaking, they're pretty humble, So a street dog has no master. It's always hungry, always fearful. But if you have a good master, then what is your position? You're well fed, you're pampered, another example is that the servant of the king, Prabhupada talks about a rich zamindar, landholders in India, Bengal in particular. They would invite each other to a feast, cook a huge 40-course feast. Who could eat it? And they would just show it. And the visiting zamindar, aristocratic landholder would say, oh, very nice, very nice. It was the servants who would eat it. And then he would invite you to his house. Because you're an old man, what can you eat? A little kitchery, But you cook this huge, oh, very nice, very nice. It was the servants that were actually enjoying. So Prabhupada says the servant of the king lives on the same level as the king. Actually, what does it say? Heavy lies the head that wears the crown. The king's in anxiety. Taxes, citizens, politics, war. The citizens are at play. They're just having the servants are living in the palace having a great time. So If we have to serve, it's a question of who to serve. So to dive into these, obviously we're not going to finish, but we'll just touch on it. This is from, as we described last Sunday, one of the great acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was about 200 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, something like that. So you can figure late 1600s. And he's describing the marks on Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. There's a whole, to study the bodily features is described. So we're just going to start to get a little something done. So these are the marks on the right foot of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you will find in your packet there marks. You can look at the 36 different marks. 16 on the right foot, 16 on the left foot. Well, I'll say it anyway because it's a blissful story and for the internet crowd. We do accept, just like astrology is a bona fide science. What's the problem? Anyone know? Finding a bona fide astrologer. It's a bona fide science. Actually, if someone's accurate. Similarly, there is the science of palmistry is actually a bona fide science. But for those who know, they can look at your hand. What's it? Bhrigu Samhita describes? They can look at your hand, and according to the lines, they can tell who you were in a past life, what's going to happen, so many things. So, these marks have validity. But just to give it balance, as far as we're concerned, I was sitting in Prabhupada's room. I forget the year, whether it was 75 or 76. It was at the Prabhupada had just come for the opening of Devasadan Mandir, the new temple. It was an evening darshan in Prabhupada's darshan room. And Prabhupada, some Indian gentleman said, Swami, can you read my palm? You know, because even if you leave from our Krishna Balaram temple and you go to the MVT, there's some guy who sets up a little, he's just sitting by the road with a little sign. You've seen that guy? Palms red. I mean, who is this guy? Devotees are stopping there, oh, tell me my future, you know. So they expect this from sharmas, from pandits, that they're supposed to, read my palm. So the man said, Swami, can you read my palm? Prabhupada said, we don't do this. Prabhupada said, we simply take shelter of Krishna. In fact, all these calculations, Navaratri, 9-stone, gemstone, to ward off the influence of the planets, and I'm in a Rahu period, so sorry, I can't get up for Mangalartik or follow the regular principles. I got to leave my wife and run off with somebody else because I'm in a Venus period, I'm in a Rahu period. Prabhupada said, accurately of course, this is a philosophy for lazy and misfortunate men. Men and women, he meant. For lazy and misfortunate. Armed with yoga, stand and fight. Krishna's, but I don't go too far afield. So, but this man, Prabhupada explained along those lines, expertly of course, and the man said, yes, Swami, but can you read my palm? So to everyone's surprise, Prabhupada said, give me your hand. And Prabhupada, was expert at timing and theatrics. Prabhupada turned on his desk lamp, click, took the man's hand, you push the hand to see the lines. Prabhupada was studying very carefully. You could hear dead silence. Devotees are thinking, hey, I'm going to queue up next. See if Prabhupada reads my palm. Prabhupada said, all bad. Birth, death, disease, and old age. I thought the man was going to have a heart attack. Prabhupada was so heavy. It was like, ah! And then Prabhupada, as only Prabhupada could do, flashed that Vaikuntha smile, that blissful, whole mood changed. And Prabhupada said, but, clap your hands at kirtan, all the lines go away. So our marks in our hand, we don't care. But the auspicious marks on the lotus feet of Krishna or Srimati Radharani, this is another affirmation of their sublime transcendental status. So these are the meditations by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur on the lotus feet. On the right foot, there is the mark of the barley corn. Barley corn, little kernel of barley. Barleycorn signifies that devotees receive all enjoyable opulence by serving the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Once one finds shelter at his feet, then the devotee's journey through many births and death is cut very short, just like the width of a grain of barley. As barley grain sustains life for the living entities, similarly the glorious lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya are the fullest nourishment of all the souls. So we've got to take shelter somewhere. Take shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. And these meditations are meditations as impetus. Why do take shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet? Umbrella. The umbrella on the feet of Lord Chaitanya proves that those who take shelter of his lotus feet are protected from the incessant rainfall of material desires. Also, you see in India, you see those old pictures of Prabhupada, and you still see gentlemen in India, especially in villages, carrying an umbrella. There's not a drop of rain in the sky. Why are they carrying an umbrella? Because it's also blazing hot, and this material world is blazing hot with the burning desires and suffering. So whether it's the flooding or whether it's the raining, the umbrella is Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Thin line that goes down. This line signifies that devotees who cling to the lotus like a lifeline, literally a lifeline. This mark signifies that devotees who cling to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, here it says, as if holding on to a lifeline, will be transported to the spiritual world. It indicates that the path to Lord Chaitanya is very direct, straight, and narrow. Who else says the path is straight and narrow? In the Bible, Jesus says the path to hell is broad and wide, the path to heaven is straight and narrow. So here's a new, anyway. It also reveals that his lotus feet can reach down to the lowest fallen souls. No one is disqualified. No one is, too low. So it says, can reach down to the lowest of fallen souls who take shelter of them and can deliver them to the highest destination. If I fall into a well, every now and then you read about some kid falls into an abandoned well and what to do. I can lower a ladder to you. I can lower a rope to you. Is that sufficient? It's necessary, but it is not sufficient. What makes the lowering of a rope or a ladder or whatever, tossing you a pair of Acme, jet shoes, what do you have to do? Yeah, you gotta take advantage of it. A man grabbed Prabhupada's feet and said, Swami, save me. Prabhupada said, yes, I can save you, but you must do the work. So that line is sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, but still we have to grab on. Next is a stick. Yeah, we got a few minutes here. Stick. As a small boy can control a small bull with a stick, one who takes shelter of Lord Chaitanya can control the bull-like mind. Lotus. This mark increases the greed for nectar in the minds of the bee-like devotees who meditate on his lotus feet. Bees always looking for some nectar to take shelter of, so the devotee is greedy, transcendently greedy to find the lotus feet. The lotus also signifies that just as a lotus grows out of water, similarly those whose eyes swell with tears upon holding his lotus feet to their heart receive the highest benefit. This mark also shows that the goddess of fortune, Sri Lakshmi Devi, always resides at his feet, rendering humble service. It signifies that his feet are so soft that they can be compared only to lotus petals. Indeed, upon first glance at his lotus feet, one thinks they're directly seeing fresh lotus blossoms. It also reveals that just as a lotus blooms by day and contracts at night, similarly those who remain steeped in meditation on his lotus feet always feel the blossoming unfoldment of brilliant sattvika ecstasies that dispel the darkness of ignorance. It means that the bees of the devotee's mind cannot fly beyond the bondage. Cannot fly beyond the bondage of jnana, knowledge, or vairagya, renunciation, without the temptation offered by the superior nectar of his lotus feet. You can give up a lower thing by a higher thing. So we're all looking for some petty, paltry, Prabhupada says a drop of water in the desert. But what we're actually looking for, that ocean, is the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. It's shown by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mountain. This mark reveals that even though Giri Govardhan is worshipped by all of Braj, Govardhan Hill, as the best of mountains, still, Govardhan Hill in turn especially serves the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chariot. The mark shows that the chariot of the mind can be easily controlled by fixing it on his lotus feet. The Manoratha. The mind is running all over the place. I mean, just like right now while I'm speaking, we're thinking about breakfast, we're thinking about what do we have to do today, we're thinking about how long is class going to be, we're thinking about a niche we've got, we're thinking, who knows what's ricocheting through the mind. Chant japa, try to control the mind. If there's a wild horse, you see the wild horse sitting in the meadow peacefully munching on grass or daisies or whatever. They do have wild horses. They still have wild horses. Arizona, Nebraska, Montana, you know. There's a name for them. What do they call them? I forget what you call a wild horse. Anyway. Looks very peaceful. What happens when you throw a saddle on that horse and you try to ride it? It just goes a bucking bronco. It's not a question of if you'll stay on. It's only a question of how long you can stay on. So the mind, the karmis, I mean, because they're just whatever that goes in the mind, they follow, they trace. It's a big problem. How much time they spend online at work watching pornography or playing card games or shopping on Amazon. Zing, 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 zing. The mind it has a field day. So, but if one, as it says here, I'll just read the last line. The bee-like devotee's mind cannot fly beyond the bondage of dry jnana and vairagya renunciation without the temptation offered by the superior nectar of his lotus feet. Okay, we're chariot. Oh, so how to control the chariot. Club. This mark shows that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet can chastise the elephant of sinful lust. You have a big club, bang, puts everything to rest. Shakti or spear. For those who take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, his feet slash all the miserable bonds of mundane life. This means that Lord Chaitanya is the source and the reservoir of unlimited Shakti. So two things, like the, what do they call it? Isn't the UCSD, they're called the Tritons, and their symbol is a three-pronged spear. Doesn't Lord Shiva carry a three-pronged spear? It's called a trident. And what are the, tri means three. So what are the threefold miseries that are, again, the protam and otram, the warp and woof of this world? What are those three prongs? What's one? Miseries from oneself, mind and body, so many disturbances. What's another one of them? Balaram. From other living entities, big or small. Nation may be fighting mothers. Nations may, that's only anyway. Nations may be fighting nations, or a little tiny bug is fighting us, from the biggest to the smallest. And what is the third misery? If the miseries of our mind and body don't get us, if the miseries caused by other living entities don't get us, what is the last? The material nature. There's earthquakes, fires, tidal waves, sinkholes. There was a devotee in Florida, drove home one day, parked his car after work, came out, there a sinkhole opened in his driveway, swallowed his car. Oh, but it didn't stop there. Swallowed, because they have these old limestone caverns that collapse sometimes, swallowed his whole house. Luckily, he was insured. He got a better house, got a new car. But Krishna works in his own way. But the point is that, what are you going to do? Take shelter of Krishna. So that's the, what does it say? So that gives us shelter from that, and also gives unlimited energy. Well, I can't do it. Krishna will help you. Yeyatam mam prapadyante. We surrender, we try. Prabhupada said you take one step to Krishna, Krishna will take 10 to you. Okay, we're going to blitz through these and finish at least 1 foot. This elephant goad, for the driving an elephant, they put behind the ear and drive the elephant. This mark indicates that meditation on his lotus feet brings the elephant of the devotee's mind under control and keeps them on the right path. It also shows that those who stay on the path towards his feet become superior amongst men, just as one riding on the top of an elephant travels far above the rest. So we say Maharaj, for me, Das Anav Das. But we do, even devotee householders, Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, that they're great souls like riding on an elephant, while everyone else, what do they say, the eagle just laughs at you simply walking. So, we're pedestrian in every sense of the way. And the great saintly sages and Vaishnavas, they're looking down, they're traveling far, not looking down in contempt, but they can see because they're much further above. Thunderbolt. This mark reveals that meditation on his feet smashes to pieces the mountain of the devotee's karmic reactions to past sins. I performed lifetimes of sin. What can I do? Shoveled, who knows? The average American, somebody sent me the figures. If anyone, either in this room or out there, can find it for me again, I saw a figure of what the average American eats in a lifetime. How many animals? And it's like so many cows, so many pigs, so many lambs, so many fish. It's just chickens. It's just a crematorium. It's a graveyard what they shoveled in their mouth. And we're not free from it. Ram may be free from it. I don't think anyone else in the room is free from that. So, yeah, it's just, with the baby, they give him Gerber's ground beef and stuff it in give him chicken soup, whatever it is. So, but as a thunderbolt smashes a mountain, a devotee's karmic reaction, do not despair. That thunderbolt of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. It also indicates, the thunderbolt mark, that whoever holds on to his lotus feet becomes exalted as Lord Indra, whose weapon is a thunderbolt. Altar. This mark proclaims that the sins of those who meditate on his feet are burned up as if on an altar of sacrifice. Swaha, and everything's burnt up. Furthermore, it indicates that just as the universe is nourished by the Brahmins offering fire sacrifices, similarly, those who offer their minds in sacrifice to his lotus feet become fully enriched and nourished in devotion. And that sacrifice is service. It's not static, sterile, private meditation or whatever. No, it means service. That's how we offer the mind. Earring. We only got 3 more. Earring. It shows that Lord Chaitanya's ears are always listening to the tinkling sound of Radharani's charming ankle bells, the melodious sound of her voice, the sweet rhythms of her love poems, and the intoxicating ragas of her veena. That's a sweet one, isn't it? Prabhupada's sitting in Los Angeles giving Bhagavatam class, and the good humor, that's an ironic name, because it rots your teeth and rots your stomach and melts, and you fight with your brother over who got what. But the ice cream truck goes by, and it's got its siren song. You know how that little tinkle sound is going on. Prabhupada says, stops, he hears it. Prabhupada says, what is that? The devotees describe it's the ice cream truck. Prabhupada said, yes, this is Maya calling. Come and enjoy. Come and enjoy.
Come on, enjoy me. Come on.
Oh, very good. Oh, so for those who couldn't hear, Dravida Prabhu gave us the actual. Prabhupada sings along with the tune.
Come on, enjoy me.
Come on, enjoy me. Come on, enjoy me. And become entrapped. Prabhupada's fantastic. So, but it has to be displaced. Nature abhors a vacuum. So if we meditate on Srimati Radharani, on Krishna, then that sweet sound, hearing Shastra, all of it, Vani, displaces the sound of the good humor ice cream truck of Maya. 4 swastikas. This is the Vedic swastika, which was, long before the Nazis polluted the thing. This mark signifies that for those who resort to his lotus feet, all is well. It also indicates that nothing inauspicious could possibly remain for one who holds his feet to their heart. The heart is full of all kinds of nasty things. What to do? But you put the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that heart becomes purified. Only two more. Jambu fruit. We have a jambu tree growing here by the grace of Suki's parents and Mukunda's kind care, right out here by the Krishna Lounge. This mark indicates that his feet are the only worshipable objects for those who are residents of the region of Jambudweep, the island of the rose apple. That's what this thing is, according to Vedic cosmography. So on Jambudweep, their only shelter is the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the last one, octagon. This mark signifies that those who resort to his lotus feet are well protected in the 8 directions, north, east, south, west, up, down, and the corners. It also shows that nothing within the kingdom of the 8 directions is unattainable for devotees. So both ways, gives us protection, and in the service of Krishna, nothing's hunt for the rhinoceros. Further, his devotees automatically and easily achieve the use of the 8 mystic perfections in the course of performing service to his feet. Figure it out. Nobody here works. How is it, once the COVID virus is over and before, how is it nobody here has a job? We're not making a big business calculation. We open our doors and feed anyone who comes. And anyone who wants to surrender to Krishna, come on, surrender. Take shelter. How is it? It's completely mystical. How is this it was a rice field, the TOVP. There was a little grass hut that leaked. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me this story. When they first came out with the deities of Radha Madhava, the Ashtatattva deities, they were using for pandals, and they brought them out in a borrowed car. They didn't even have their own car. Borrowed a car from a life member, drove out. The place, I don't know where the devotees were staying, the half-finished Lotus building, I don't know where they were staying. But they built a little grass hut for Prabhupada. It leaked. So Prabhupada put the deities on the side that didn't leak. And Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, they put a partition up, and then Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Prabhupada stayed on the side that leaked. Just the sign of what, Prabhupada is a great devotee. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me as a sidelight when he woke up in the morning, Prabhupada, of course, was already up, and Prabhupada said, "You snore." Tamal said, "I don't snore." Prabhupada said, "How do you know? You were asleep." Tamal said, "He's got a point." So from that, how is it possible? Prabhupada speaks in Gainesville. We'll end here, I promise, in a few seconds. Prabhupada speaks in Gainesville. And the only gain in Gainesville is our Krishna lunch or the devotee Sangha. So you hear Prabhupada speak, and 40,000 students. Is it Florida State that's in Gainesville? I think it's Florida State. The alligators, are they called the gators? Yeah, they're the gators. So Prabhupada speaks, and he says, "I am speaking to you from this remote corner of the world, far from the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." Now, this is in the 1970s. 40,000 students, it's a big city, One would think that, Mayapur, it doesn't even have a decent road. You can't even find, who knows where Mayapur is in those days? But far from the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this simple thing that this whole movement is going on by the mystic power of Krishna. So there it is, that nothing is unattainable, and we are protected from all sides by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So next Sunday, I promise, we will finish the left foot. But it's a sweet meditation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.